Howdy y'all, Matt here, Seattle Speed Shop, and back working on the 1 hour a day T. So overwhelmingly, seems like the banger motor is kind of what you guys are into, so that's good because I got a lot of that garbage. So let's I think we're gonna dig out an engine, see what we can come up with. So I've got this one, which I don't know a lot about. But, you know, pretty complete. Looks like it might be a good candidate. And then I've got this one, also pretty complete. This might also be a good candidate for us to run. I have several more fairly rough candidates over there. And gosh, I've got a lot of engines. So I don't know what the story is on this one. Got another one back there. So yeah, we got a few choices. I guess I'm gonna kind of pull a couple out. I'm gonna pull out the run stand, and we're gonna get one of these babies set up on there, and we'll see what we come up with. All right, so this is the engine I dug out. Mainly it was easy to get to. It turns over. It's still got oil in it. I drug the engine stand out, run stand. So we're going to get this on there. And let's see if we can get it to run. This motor's fairly complete. It does look like it might have some signs of maybe a leaky head gasket. So we'll check that out. I've taken a lot of just old used banger engines and put them back at least running before with a fair amount of success. Your main culprits generally are it's going to have either a rod knock, which sometimes can or cannot be remedied with pulling some shims. Big culprit usually is it'll have a huge oil leak. That's actually probably one of the number one things I see is just huge oil leaks from the rear main. And then number three, usually maybe you'll see some stuck valves, stuff like that, which is generally pretty easy to loosen up and get going again. So let's get this on the stand, and we'll get an intake, an exhaust on it, distributor in it, probably a flywheel, and starter, and just wire it up to run, and we will see if we can get this thing to pop off. We'll get this on the run stand. I'm sure you guys don't care what that looks like, and bring you back when I got something interesting to show you. Alright, so engine is kind of resting on the stand. Getting the engine stand out, dragging the engine out from behind, and getting this all set up to this point. This is 1 hour for the week, so I think next plan is we need to get out a flywheel, starter, distributor, carb intake, and exhaust, and get that stuff on, and we can see if we can get this thing running. So I'm going to get working on that now for you. I'm probably going to end up doing 2 hours today, because kind of speaking of the hour a day theory, you don't even have to, it doesn't have to be an hour a day. It could be 2 hours one day and an hour the next. And trying to do 7 days a week, 1 hour a day is probably pretty hard to pull off. So, like, if you get over half the week, an hour a day, you're doing good by my book. So, obviously get as much done as you can, but don't feel bad if you only get 4 hours done. That's still 4 hours closer, and if you're, planning what you do, you just kind of, you have a plan of attack and you get that done every day instead of just wandering around the garage trying to think about what you're going to do. Do that while you're laying in bed trying to fall asleep, and then make use of your hour most efficient. Be the most efficient during your hour of work. So I'm going to go ahead and I got stuff there and over here, and we got to dig a bunch of stuff out. So realistically, that might be another hour. So I will bring you guys back when I got a bunch of stuff ready to put on this engine. Howdy, y'all. So I've collected up pretty much all the parts that I will need to make this thing run. And I had to pull like a flywheel off another engine and dig around in my crate of starters and generators and distributor crate and just dig a bunch of stuff out. So that was another hour. So we're 2 hours in this week. That was pretty easy for me. Still took me an hour. Maybe you've got to go get every one of these pieces. Maybe you got to get them from your friend. Maybe going to collect all these is 1 hour each. But hey, now you got all the parts you need to make an engine run. So just keep going. It's going to take you maybe longer than it takes me, but that doesn't really matter. We're climbing a mountain and we're doing it a step at a time. So engine is in the stand. We're going to get all this stuff on here. Try and get this thing running. I'm actually seeing a couple more pieces I should probably grab, like an oil fill tube. I'm going to need 2 more spark plugs. And maybe a little bit of hardware for the starter. So I'm going to dig that stuff up. I'll just count that in with our second hour. And once we get all that on there, I'll bring you back and we'll try and get this thing started. Hopefully we got a good runner. Yeah, this is, I could see this taking another hour, maybe 2. And yeah, I'm really hoping that this thing is good to go. So I've got some goodies for it that we will put on if we get it running. We'll probably clean it up and paint it, make it look nice. But all we care about right now is it runs and doesn't knock. So let me get started making this thing go. All right, we are back, and we got the manifolds on and the carb on, and I timed the motor and dropped the distributor in. I got the starter on, and we got a flywheel on it. I need to go scare up some plugs, maybe a cap and some plug wires. Maybe some bolts just to bolt it to the engine stand because it's just resting on it right now. But we're very close to firing things. I've got the gas tank and my test coil ready to go. So this is another hour. And it's a good stopping. Maybe it's like 50 minutes, but it's a good stopping point, And one thing I want to talk about is thinking about what your next move is going to be kind of while you're doing dull stuff that doesn't need a lot of thinking. You can kind of think about what your future plans of attack are. So once we get this engine running, I'm kind of thinking we got to figure out a transmission option. And there's also some stuff to the body that needs to be done once we get this engine in. We'll need to mount the body, and the firewall isn't, or like the cowl actually isn't attached, so we've got to take care of that. And so there's stuff to kind of get on the radar and think about and mentally prepare for. There's plenty to do. I'm gonna continue with getting this thing running. We'll get the fuel source set up and take care of the last kind of minor details, and get a battery. I expect that'll be another hour. That'll be, if we spend another hour and have this running for this week's, I'll be pretty pleased. That's another thing I want to talk about is you don't have to hit 7 hours a week or 7 days a week. I think if you hit 4, if you're just over half of the week spent hour a day, you're going to get there. So I'm going to keep going. Yeah. I'll bring you back once we are about ready to fire it. So. All right, well, we got this thing ready to fire, so I haven't really given it much fuel. Let's see. All right, so we got some life out of it. That's pretty awesome. There is a major oil leak from the valve cover, so I stopped running it. I would have liked to have gotten some more time running it, but I don't want to make a mess, so I shut her down. I don't think I have a valve cover in stock, or I'd keep going. So this is probably going to be or I do have a valve cover, but not a gasket. I used the last one on my pickup. Haven't gotten another one yet. So this is going to be it for this week. That's 5 hours on it. It spent 2 today, 1 pulling it out, 1 looking for parts, 1 kind of setting stuff up on it. And it actually took me 2 hours to get it running. I was kind of messing with a ground issue, and I had to tweak a couple things, but you know, pretty good. I'm real happy with this. I'm always happy when I can get some life back in a old engine. So we're gonna keep working on this thing. We'll probably hose it down, paint it, clean it up. I want to put a high compression head on it, downdraft carb. We got to fix the oil leak. So there's still a fair amount to do. We got to start thinking about a transmission. I was kind of thinking about doing like a 32 to 34 V8, or not V8, 4-cylinder case, which is kind of like how to get the better transmission without using in a 4-cylinder without using an adapter. I don't know. I'll have to cover the whole thing. It'll make more sense when you see it there. I think that'll be better than a Model A transmission, is my thoughts. So I do have a couple of those we can work with. So there you have it. She's got some life in her. So that was enough for me to at least want to invest a little bit of money in it and keep going with it. So I am very, very pleased. Yeah, that's about it. So get out in the shop, get working on your project. Little steps. That's how you're gonna climb this mountain, is little steps. So it doesn't, you don't have to have huge progress every time you work on it. You just got to get a little bit done, and eventually you're going to be cruising. So I'm hoping that my hour-a-day Model T build is inspiring you and is showing you what can be done with just a little bit of time. So yeah, get out there. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe. Hit the notifications. And yeah, we'll see you. Do some more cool stuff. Can't believe it runs.